I wish good things to you who's watching this. I am Alexey, and this is the finals of the third qualification tournament for the 2025 Carcassonne Champions League, where Pakshe of Thailand and Ezitakuto Traps of Japan will be fighting for a spot already in the main stage, and the loser will not be out of a tournament. They will be playing against somebody else in the consolidated finals for one more chance to qualify. But the winner is guaranteed to qualify. Hi Wise Maze, hi Kaika. Pakshe is here because Thailand won the Asian Cup, and Japan is here because Japan won the World Cup, so that's why they get these extra tournament for the qualification winners. Anyway, the majority of you know that. So we're just going to jump into the game, which should have started 1 minute ago or so. Hi Kirillo. I see already rooting for Thailand, which is also the new country here. Ezitakuto has been around the block for quite some time already. Yeah, the traps in his screen names, it's just tribute to the Carcassonne club that he's part of. That's a club in Japan that has, I think, between 30 and 50 members, something like this. Both playing a really fast, already quite a lot of tiles have been placed. 49 tiles remaining. The Thai player with the yellow meeples and the Japanese player with the patriotic color of red. So what are we having over here? We're having a lot of blocks, actually, so that's very interesting. Very even on the scoreboard. Red is having one block city for 2 points, and yellow has the better end of the stick with 4 points already on his blocked side of a city and endless chance of potential for expansion. Now starts a 4-point road. Red stakes 2 quick points, at the same time continuing his loop road, at the same time making Pakshe's world more vulnerable, but it's immediately being resolved as a crossroads goes into yellow hand. 5 road points get added to yellow scoreboard. Interesting, this semi-blocked city over here, as Ezitakuto recovers his road on the right. So there's still two, actually there's only one tile left that fits over here, so unless yellow can draw his tile really quickly, then yellow is going to be at long-term meeple disadvantage. Still, it should be more or less balanced just because of this mini battle over here. So yellow has chances to make his blocked meeple worthwhile, and also yellow has a potential for an 8-point city over here. There is some runouts of tiles where he could get a couple of Doritos and one of the 2 remaining cow tiles to actually turn this into a much larger construction worth around 18 points. And this position is generally quite, so it looks close, but it's actually quite volatile because there are 2 crucial spots. This one, so a coin flip for 6 points. Whoever draws the starting tile first is going to get it. And this one, whoever's going to get the road monastery, going to get easy 8 points, and then a chance to get a city tile, get a meeple back, and probably even drop a farmer with tempo, so stuff like this. So really a lot in this game is going to depend on these key draws. And this meeple doesn't even matter, maybe that much in that sense. But then Pakshe is thinking, so he's not even automatically going over here to defend. So we see how the Japanese player used the straight line to create the platform. And I'm kind of a bit surprised that yellow doesn't even bother defending, saying that, a 50-50 chance to recover a meeple isn't good enough anyway. But actually here, as much as I like not defending my meeples, and as much as I like quick points, here actually I think defending is best, just from a probability standpoint. So these 50% of recovering your meeple back, first of all, it's 3 points extra, because you're turning your city, your 3-point city in your 1-point city into a 4-point city, so you're adding 3, and a meeple. A meeple is gonna be worth at least 6 points in this position, but probably then some actually, so the meeple could worth even more than that, but let's conservatively say 6 points. So 9 points extra times 50%, that's 4.5. So in the long term, defending here is actually worth, even more than 4.5 points, because if you defend here, you also pick up this 4-point road. So it's like 6 points at least, probably even more, maybe even the 7-point move in the long run. So so even if you don't get lucky and you don't get that tile, still it seems to be like a worthy investment. And especially this is true in a position where you're having coin flips like here and like here. Because what could happen if you just defend your meeple, then you have one more high impact tile in the position available to you compared to your opponent. So we're both flipping for this tile, for the starting tile, and we're both flipping for the monastery. But then in addition to that, you would also have one more tile which gives you a meeple back and scores you a 4-point road. And it definitely seems that that was a bit of a case of greed overall. Now, sometimes it makes sense to do stuff like this, so you do moves like these to minimize variance. It is to make sure that, you know what, I'm so confident in my abilities, I'm so confident in my position that I don't want to be relying on just one tile, on a coin flip to get a tile, so I'd rather take the 2 guaranteed points. But what changes everything, the logic over here, is this spot and this spot over here. So it's not about just expected points values, it's also about the number of high impact tiles that are available to you. But anyway, 2 points on the scoreboard for Pakshe. And also, by the way, I mean, there's just so many more things about this. So if you draw this tile very late, then it comes very often with a 9-point field as well, because this city is going to get completed, this city is very likely to get completed, and then you can just drop a farmer immediately. So there's just so many high value opportunities available. And I was even wondering if I'm miscounting the tiles, but no, I don't think I am, because this third dagger is the wrong direction. So there's still one of these bad boys available. A high Polo Verde. Hi Devaka, saying that Zitakuto seems to have problem with time. Oh yes, actually only 12 seconds for the Japanese player. I assume that must be some sort of connection issue that hopefully has been resolved, because of course we can see that red blocks yellow, but it's an automatic move, like there's no thinking that needs to be made. But luckily the time is being replenished, so 40 seconds already on Ezitakuto's board. Ooh, that's interesting. Oh, yeah, that actually makes sense, kind of breaking Pakshe City a little bit, of course setting up potential invasions of that square, but at the same time there's another platform for red to reconnect, so that should be looking fine. Yeah, looks like rating-wise at least the Thai player is in good shape. Over 700, so... And I think his peak is 760 something. And so now look, red is actually just trying to run away with the city. Yellow's right, trying to run away with the city. Just adding a tile, making it harder to connect to that city. That's going to be interesting. Ezitakura with a simple city cap. No really good move. Start a new city. Pakshe wins the coin flip for a 6-point city. Does not immediately go there. Maybe he was considering kind of adding it over here and trying to finish that city first, but you know, 6 points are important. Interesting. So red draws the splitter tile and just finishes a shared city. I wonder if that's worth doing at all. Kind of very quick move as well. Well, look at Pakshe. Who needs to defend his cities if he's gonna win both coin flips? He's gonna now go to take a monastery for 8 points and be happy. Or he might be thinking instead to grab the field straight up. Because actually, wait, if you go here, the field is 15 points already. You do have to invest a meeple, whether it's with the monastery getting a meeple back, but I wonder if that position's so good that it's worth it. No, he still goes for the monastery, and I agree, because this field will be able to be invaded later, but red continues his own stuff, and yeah, yellow probably here should still continue his city, actually. Or maybe not. I'm really not sure. So maybe just going over here, sacrificing a bit, just sacrificing a city tile, but being the first on the field could be really, really nice. Because it's not that open. There is an attacking opportunity over here, but if you place a tile over here as yellow, then immediately red draws a curve and blocks both the monastery and the field connection. Yeah, and that's why red decides to drop a farmer straight away. Which, and actually red can drop a, okay, so red is going for the loop road. I would think about that a little bit. So red indeed gets nice 4 points, but I wonder if the field is so big that it's good to already consolidate, because this looks like a juicy square for a second farmer. Maybe Pakshe wants to score first and drop a farmer a little bit later. Or maybe his idea is, like, if red goes here, then yellow can go here and equalize. But red is preoccupied with something else. Red is trying to equalize yellow's city, which is also a threat. Yellow probably needs to drop another farmer here. I mean, that would be him playing with one meeple for a long time, but he can easily get a meeple back here. Because I really like the idea of being strong on that farm, because it's just very, very difficult to equalize after all. And there are enough cities in the farm that already that's already worth the meeple investment. And if you drop a farmer here, then you actually don't even have to connect the two farms. You can just keep it here for 6 points as insurance, get one more tile to capitalize on this city, so this little farm is going to be 9 points. And you don't necessarily need to unify. And the main field with 5 completed cities, it's just fantastic. So it looks like yellow's getting everything there in that position. Kirilo is saying too early for a second meeple. I disagree. I really like the second meeple here. Just because of the shape of the field and its lack of entry squares. Because you see, if we let red to drop the farmer, here's how it happens. Red goes here, we go here, red finishes the city, drop a farmer, and then everything's connected and it's 2-2. Now here, it's actually much more difficult to do because red can't really go here now. Imagine if red had a tile like this, right? So red can't really go over here because yellow will just simply go over here, block the city, and not allow another field connection platform. So there's a way, like if red chooses to fight for this field at all, which red might have to do, just because there doesn't seem to be any other way to productively employ his extra meeples, then when red's already 2 farmers behind, it's kind of difficult to do something about this. So I think what will need to be done, well, first of all, I think red will need to consolidate, maybe add a monastery point and try to somehow sneak into farm through here. So presumably that red draws a Dorito tile sooner or later. He's going to recover this monastery. This will allow, yellow's going to recover his monastery meeple. This will allow red to go over here, drop a farmer, and connect through this square whilst building up his monastery at the same time. Okay, yellow now simply deciding to unify the fields, which I'm not sure, could be a bit premature, but yellow taking the 3-point sacrifice in the form that he's now not scoring twice for this city on the farm, he's scoring for it only once, but of course the control of the field and the long-term potential seems very nice. Zitakuto is now building his monastery, and at the same time threatening the block of yellow's monastery, so yellow defends, So now yellow like sacrificing points to defend his meeples. I mean, again, quite justified, but yellow I think now gonna get what he wanted. So red's gonna get what he wanted. So red's gonna at some point go here, drop a farmer, and then kind of connect through yellow's monastery to the main field. So we can see that red chooses to fight for the field after all, so he goes over here. So that's why it was so important to leave this platform for to take this platform for yellow as opposed to leaving it for red. Oh yeah, Polo Verde is saying as red, I would have to take the field before closing the city with a vertical splitter. Yeah, this seems like a mistake, just because yellow was a bit behind, and that was a 0-point move. And all this move did was, slightly obstruct this city, a city that red was going to have to invade anyways. So yeah, so it was either an opportunity to grab a farm somewhere, or to just finish red city. So this seems like the biggest mistake in the game actually so far. I kind of glossed over that move without thinking too much. Hi, Glovier. Oh, the color swapping. Yeah. Red on the field. Did I say red? It's as possible. It's as possible. Oof. Yellow and red for some people, this reason, are the colors that I tend to mix up the most when speaking. And blue and black is the tied second. Yeah, so red is already dropping a farmer, but it's a really, really awkward tile to do that. I wonder if that's premature. Because the reason why it's such an awkward tile, it's just decimates this monastery. Because, like, you really want to build it up a bit more efficiently. You want to get, like, a little curve here. You want to get a road here. You're going to get another monastery over here. There's still 3 monasteries remaining. Pakshe, in the meantime, just getting 1 pointers. Azita Koto will now be thinking whether to take these 4 points. I would go for 4 points here. Actually, there are a couple of reasons why that I think would be nice. Or to use this tile here to maybe start a road or a new city or something like this. So there's arguments for everything. Yeah, so first of all, another reason why I don't like this, it's not only not allows placing some good tiles here which belong in that square, but it also makes it very easy for yellow to block this monastery. Yeah, for example, like you can also look at the like very, very top players, top Japanese player as well. Like, can you imagine like Rabbit Rain making a move like this? I can't. Like, you know, he's gonna be very efficient, or or Pinzertron, or somebody like that, or a Setsugento. Yeah, so probably as red, what I would have preferred instead is just going over here, starting a new city, and well. Maybe. Kind of tough to tell, actually. Yeah, but starting a new city could work out, even though it's slightly risky, just because we want to score a little bit before we equalize the field, because Pakshe is still going to be slightly ahead as a result of this ruin. And if we just score a little bit, then we can win by equalizing the field without having to overrun this field. So there's some scenarios where red would have to drop a third meeple. Yeah, so red does get a very nice tile to continue his monastery before he's getting blocked. If red were, but he's getting his city blocked. So that's not nice for him. Well, the city is partially blocked, but these 2 squares are tied together. So now Zitakuto is scoring. Pakshe is now going to be thinking whether to go here and block the monastery, and this seems like a good use of a shielded tile, actually. Just because there's only 1 starting tile remaining, it makes it so much harder to finish this monastery, and it also makes sure that Zitakuto needs the same tile in 2 places, This, yeah, exactly. So normally I don't like spending shield on stuff like this, but it's totally worth it in this situation. Red now has some interesting options. Yeah, so red can just connect to the field like this. Pakshe immediately gets the last starting tile, so there's nothing gonna be here to fill the square. But as is Takuto, seeing that I'm already kind of behind here, I'm wondering if just going over here, setting up a road monastery was a nice idea instead. Because as red, if we go here, what we could do, we could maybe at some point get this meeple back, and then we could drop another farmer over here, and hope for the last remaining road monastery to go here, take 9 points, and overrun this field. So that, of course, very wishful thinking, but one needs to dare to dream. Ah, Pakshe saying Pakshe knew that last dagger was for red. Oh yeah. So just this, of course, this is the tile that would have fit into yellow city, which yellow didn't defend. So yellow did end up with extra 2 points compared to what he would have had in the scenario, or compared to the scenario he had listened to me. But this is only the case because yellow won those 2 crucial coin flips, one for the monastery and one for the city. Had the tiles been reversed, then yellow would have really needed that dagger. All right, so red finally makes it into the field, at least with 1 meeple. Pakshe now probably going to be building up his ruin. What else seems worth doing? Oh, this is also a very dangerous spot for a potential field connection. So you might want to block it right now, but I think it's a bit too chickeny. This also interesting, this sets up another monastery spot, which yellow could benefit from. Yeah, I think it's a fantastic tile placement. So yellow slightly ahead due to his bigger ruin, as Itakuto is more ahead on the scoreboard. But, you know, these cities are roughly equal, monasteries are completely equal, and this guy is more. So yellow is slightly ahead, and that is if red even manages to get into the field. And so what yellow is setting up is just a point scoring opportunity that he is likely to take. Because if red connects to the field, which he should do at some point, he'd be closing Pakshe's monastery and giving Pakshe 1 more meeple to work with, and this 1 meeple can be wonderfully deployed over here for 7 points. Then you add a couple of extra city tiles whilst also building up your monastery. Extremely efficient, of course. But Takuto has other options. So he could overrun this field. I think that's also a big way how he could win this game. So you can go over here, maybe drop a farmer like this, connect through here. A bit risky given the low number of crossroads remaining, and that low number is 0. There's actually no crossroads remaining. So let's say if you go with a curve over here, a straight line can go over here, block the square completely. If you go with a straight line over here, drop a farmer, then a city tile can go over here, block the square completely, just because there's no more starting tiles remaining. Aha, that's interesting. So why is Mesa suggesting a ninja farmer on the right, which is the farmer through the outside of a curve like this? That could also work, actually. That could definitely work. One issue for red is that there isn't anything to finish this city, because all of the city caps that fit here are gone. There are, however, road Doritos available, so a combo of a road Dorito plus a regular city cap is still unlikely, but in the cards. But now I'm also thinking, so let's say if Ezitakuto drops a farmer right now, which is definitely a legit option, because it's very hard to block, and connects on the field, then does Pakshe have a win without the field? Because as enticing as it is, the field is worth 21 points. He does choose to drop a farmer there. That also makes sense. I think just less profitable one, he immediately gets blocked. And that's GG. Yes, of course, his idea was to draw one of the monasteries and connect first. Maybe he didn't see that idea. That there was a connection on the right. Now he will get his meeple trap for 0 points, and Pakshe doesn't even have to go over here, but he could go over here for demonstrative purposes and block completely. The reason why he doesn't have to go over here is that there are no more parallel city caps available. Yeah, I was thinking of that option, but yeah. It's just not something that you want to do. Red is not even getting this farmer into the field. That's a big ouchie, actually. Yeah, so yellow did manage to get a lot of Doritos. This one and this one. Well, 2 Doritos only, so that's not such a big deal. And leave this poor guy stranded with 3 points. This poor guy stranded with 0 points. Pakshe is asking for 5 minutes, which is great for us because that allows us some hot water. Yeah, so the Thai player shows the difference in level. Honestly, I expected maybe just a bit more precise play from Ezitakuto. This field connection on the right, easy to miss. To be honest, I also missed it completely. And I was, in fact, thinking about a move like this just a little bit later in the game when no more blocking tiles are available. So that's also still an option. Another reason, I think, what could have gone into Red's mind. So if you go over here on the right and drop a farmer and connect with a curve, then with a city tile, yellow can go over here and drop a farmer himself and then connect through one of the multiple monasteries or a curve available to reclaim the field. So that was also an idea. And still, just the fact that red cannot make it into the main field without finishing yellow's monastery could be a play here. Yeah, so overall, definitely excellently played game by the Thai player. Kind of had control of the game throughout with his early farmer, and the second farmer just managed to get a stronghold on the field, and Ezitakuto was forced to spend many moves trying to equalize and didn't even get the draws to equalize eventually. So yeah, definitely one move that I'm kind of very still skeptical about was this refusal to defend his own meeple, which again, in some situations make perfect sense. In some situations where you want to be taking those 2 points, but when you think about your overall win percentage, then of course, even just one tile available for meeple recovery can do a lot for your winning chances, probably more than 2 immediate points. Yeah, I think the one move that's Ezitakuto that lost Ezitakuto the game was actually this farmer over here. It's a nice idea, it's just a little bit too impatient, especially with other opportunities in the cards. Of course, this thing, and there were some ways of maybe dropping a farmer here in the future. So like this field was tough, but it wasn't dead. And just breaking his own monastery, that's the thing that ended up costing him 2 meeples actually. So even though he got super lucky to get the tile that fit here in the meantime, then with such shortage on city plus road tile, to build up a monastery in a way that requires city plus road tiles in 2 spaces is just way too dangerous. And I know that his idea was probably, given the fact that he had the meeple majority, he was prepared to sacrifice that meeple, but it robs him of many possible other paths to victory. Because he kind of realized that he was behind enough, he hasn't scored enough, that he needed to overrun this field, hence this farmer and so on. But if he just like does this thing, adds 1 more monastery, just goes a bit more classic in the development of the monastery, and a bit more patient, then maybe he has enough points that where equalization is just enough. And then Pakshe is the one who forced to do this kind of risky thing for a lower winning chance. Yeah, so a very nice victory for the Thai player. Let's see if maybe their 5 minutes were a metaphor, maybe they actually meant a little bit shorter. So have they? Yeah, they have started the second game already. And of course, need to remind you that it is a best of 3 encounter, so if the Thai player wins now, he goes straight to the group stage of the Champions League. If not, it's 1 more game for them. So what are we having? The Japanese player is starting, so that's some nice advantage for them. 4 points for Japan, 4 points for Thailand, and now a red meeple proudly in the center on a shielded giraffe's next tile. For Pakshe, I actually don't know this position. I don't know what the move here is. So let's see. We could definitely start a new road and bend it into Red City, but we could get controlled very quick. So for example, if we go here, Red gets a triangle and does this, and that's it. Red's stuck with 4 points, we have 2 points, and Red is happy. Or worse, Red gets a triple city tile, and then we get stuck into a losing mini battle real quick. So actually, the more I think about it, the move that I prefer is a bit weird. I like going over here and dropping a 6-point farmer. Yeah, this is also fine. This is also fine. The 6-point farmer just has like a nice addition to it, that this square next to Red City becomes slightly more vulnerable. But of course, this is another way to create many more vulnerability next to Red. And this field can be occupied later. Red is starting a new loop road. And now Pakshe is getting a fantastic tile to enter the city, but most importantly to disrupt this road, disrupt the loop, and make it so that Red is forced to place a city tile into a shared city just to recover the meeple back. Red now doesn't have a good use for curve, so just an excellent disruptive move. Ezitakuto could think about going over here and starting a big city fight. Would that be a good move? No. That would be a move, though, that many players would make. I think like up to the rating of 500. I think above that, players typically start recognizing that big city fights with too many open squares are just not the most productive path to get an advantage, and Red knows this. They start a new city up top, very plain and simple. Yeah, probably the best placement that I can think of. It doesn't give back a whole lot. Obviously, there's some slight vulnerability in this square. It actually slightly makes the monastery square over here a bit worse, so that's nice. And of course, as Red, we don't want to be going over here, because that would allow Yellow to place a tile over here and attack 2 squares at the same time. Yeah, so whenever you're deciding on a safe place for your city, you normally want it to be away from your other features, just so that your opponents cannot attack 2 squares at the same time with 1 tile. Pakshe now with a shielded cow tile has 2 options. One is just to sort of play the long game, go equalize here. And this has some nice ramifications, actually. There are kind of some ideas of even getting some more tiles that connects into this bigger ruin as well, and then maybe making this square vulnerable. Really unlikely, but, you know, you'd be surprised that it actually does happen. This move also disrupts the monasteries a little bit, and that's also kind of nice. An alternative, of course, is going here, which is also really annoying as well. That would be just starting to block this square, and also putting pressure on this square as well. A third idea is to go over here and start a new city to put pressure on the square directly. Yeah, so Yellow indeed just goes the more peaceful route, equalizes with some backdoor options of draw back-to-back tiles and having a big ruin for himself. Red draws a monastery, 4 points, nice spot, you know, not fantastic, but nice enough. Sets up another 5-point monastery over here, another 4-point monastery over here. Very easily could decide the game. Pakshe with a straight line, not many good places to use it. A sort of intermediate level player mistake would be to go over here, thinking, you know, I don't have a place to go, so I might as well disrupt my opponent's monastery a little bit and restrict them slightly. But the thing is, actually, this would not be restricting. This would be building up, just because one of the 5 monasteries fits here so nicely. And yeah, so Yellow makes a move which makes the most sense to me, kind of disrupting this square a little bit. Even though the city is potentially shared, so it doesn't make sense to block it, but actually it does. Because if we block that square, then, and if we build up over here, then as yellow, we won't have, as red, we won't have anywhere to develop our city to. Yes, and yellow and red kind of knows this, so yellow immediately completes the connection. You see, because there were some scenarios of either a splitter getting here or this square being disrupted and blocked with something like a crossroad tile, which, by the way, is now drawn by Pakshe and could be used by him to start a road. Yeah, that would work. That would be madness. That would also work, actually, with a 1-point meeple over here. That's a nice move, I think, as well. So either we go for the points directly, which is what the Thai player does, or we go over here and try to build our road in a way which disrupts Red's road. Typically between the two moves, I would choose the one which scores more immediately, and I've noticed that the Thai player has mostly been following that approach, even in some extreme scenarios, as he chose not to save his meeple just to take 2 extra points for the crossroads. And red makes a move which I quite strongly dislike. So it looks nice, and it sort of works out, kind of, sort of, yes. You start a farm for 6 points, you drop a city cap, potentially 9 points in that field, you drop a city cap in your field, and this also happens to be next to your monastery. That's all fantastic. Yeah, like when you say all these good things about the move, it's kind of, what am I criticizing about? Well, the main thing that I'm criticizing is the disruption of the monastery spot, because like the 6 points just benefits you so much. So I guess what red is counting on is this monastery spot over here, which red can still draw, so it still makes sense. And Pakshe now probably needs to clean off that city cap, but this also shows that it's not the easiest thing to do, because in order to do that, Pakshe needs to, I guess, go over here and make his road a bit more vulnerable. But it's just a bullet that we have to bite. So, yeah, there's really only this option going up, or this option going down. And no, we don't leave the city cap. We don't leave the city cap open in our opponent's field. I don't like this by Pakshe at all. Like, you have to bite the bullets and clean it up. Of course, this starting a new city here has some nice effects, like it starts blocking this road a little bit, and as a result, red is forced, instead of taking the city cap, red is kind of forced to go here. And, solve his road problems, now actually putting you into a losing mini battle. So this road very nicely sticks into yellow city. But you know what could happen if red gets a horse tile, a triple city with a road, chooses to recover his road meeple, then this would create some opportunities for this yellow meeple entering into this square like this. Yeah, so yellow is now trying to block red's monastery, which will work in the short term. In the long term, it is unlikely to work. So probably as yellow, I would have preferred a move like this, which just ties the fate of the monastery. Yeah, I would have preferred this move by so much. So a move like this, which ties the fate of the monastery and the road together, it would be a losing mini battle, 4 versus 8, if these both tiles get blocked. But what you get in compensation is the blocked field, and you're not getting that now, as Ezi Takuto takes this city cap, takes 4 points, adds 1 monastery point, brings it 1 tile towards completion, brings his field to 9 points, makes it harder to connect to this field. There's only 1 connection platform here at the top, and on top of that, blocks or at least severely disrupts red's road. All of these things in one move, just allowed with a couple of dubious decisions here by red. Yeah, so given that yellow, dubious decision by yellow, of course. So given that yellow maybe found it quite challenging to react to this move, and look at this very nice follow-up for red, starting a loop road, now putting a lot of pressure on this square as Pakshe cannot defend, probably needs to go over here and set up a city for himself. You don't go over here just yet, you have to be patient. Yeah, then knowing the outcome, then of course this move looks like fantastic. And even not knowing the outcome, like it really has a lot of good things to it. Yeah, so creative, unorthodox by Ezitakuto, but you know, respect for the content for sure. Oh yeah, that's a great point, Devaka. That Red remembered that he lost the field in the main game, so Red's trying to be first. I've seen that in the recent streams so many times that the way players play their second duel, their second game of the duel, is really impacted by a lot by how the first duel went. Especially if they lost the first one, they would kind of change up their style a little bit, and that sometimes has to do with the field. Interesting move here from Reds. Do I like it? Yes, I do. So it has some upsides and downsides. The upside is that we immediately start obstructing the square. So that's very nice. Now also yellow with just one meeple in hand needs city plus road tile in a variety of places. So that's very nice, of course. The downside is that it limits blocking options for us, because now we can't go here with the city tile and block that square, but it also limits the defense options for our opponent. So for example, our opponent now cannot draw a straight line and go over here. Oh, wait, no, is it Takuto rushing his move? No, you are doing so well. Yeah, Red. Strategically way more important is to go over here and block that meeple. Like this, the meeple count will matter so much. This move would also expand the field, and this would also do though in such a way that doesn't give any connection platforms. Yeah, because like yellow can recover his meeple easily. Yellow can get a crossroad tiles and a starting tile. There's still 3 of each remaining in the deck. Ah, yeah. The impatience from the Japanese player. Maybe like he just straight up didn't see that this tile goes over here. Yeah, because the thing is, like, this meeple here was in 0 danger. There's still so many curves to finish this road meeple and so many crossroads. Maybe he really liked the idea of dropping a city cap in his field, but actually, he does not need to do that. He's ahead on the scoreboard, and he's ahead on the field. 9 points with lots of green squares is very nice. So the way you play those field and block positions, you don't actually grow them. You only make them as big as they need to be. Because the more city caps you add to the field, you get the more points, sure. But with great power, as in great points on the field, comes great responsibility, which means this field becomes harder to control and very easy to invade. It's like, I really like how Carcassonne farming works kind of like real life empires. So the bigger they get, the harder it is to control invasions. And you can only get away with a big farm if you either have the meeple power, the actual persons, or if you have very favorable geography, such as, you know, a lot of mountain ranges, but mountain ranges would mean something like roads, which limit the field connections. Yeah, and also like another reason, so let's say we go over here, we block that square, and assuming that yellow finishes his city at some point, then our field is worth 12 points, And it's actually nice that this city cap is not in this field because there are no connection platforms available, especially after this move over here. Yeah, also here over red, I think I actually don't like that move that much. It sets up a nice monastery, sure, but I think a nice idea to explore was to just place this tile over here and meeple a new city like this, finish the monastery, and then get a Dorito tile over here and drop a farmer. Yeah, actually I like this much more. I think it's a much more flexible way to develop the field, and also that is one way to resolve these two monastery issues so that you can actually get your meeple out. Yeah, so this move that I was suggesting was this in the previous move, without helping your opponent to get out. But yeah, but another thing with farms, like there's a point in developing a big farm if you have the long-term meeple majority. You gotta have the long-term meeple majority if you actually manage to block some of your opponent's meeples. So I think for many of you, like, I don't even need to explain this, but it's now an opportunity for Pakshe. Okay. So he does this. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. That makes perfect sense. To break off a city, and I think he had to do that. But I think another move to consider was going over here with the idea of actually trying some sneaky connection into the ruin from this meeple, and that would of course protect this square directly. So there's still a chance to draw a Dorito and get your meeple back. But with this move, as a Takuto, I would have just taken the quick points, but I like the idea in principle, because if you're going to block that square, if you're going to try and block that square, you're actually better off blocking with the crossroads. Because if yellow defends, they will be giving you this road back. So actually, yeah, so now red blocks the square, but I'm really puzzled about the priorities of red. So here, I actually think that 4 points were better. Because again, you're not blocking your opponent's meeple. I mean, you are, but you're also blocking your own, so it's an even exchange. You're only blocking your opponent's point scoring potential. So imagine this. So let's say this road gets completed, this road becomes 7 points. And this city, if completed, it will grow from 5 to 12. So that's 7 points extra. So this is only 4 points extra. Oh, perfectly. Super instructive moment. Okay, have a look at this. So Ezi Takuto just sacrificed 4 points to prevent his opponent from gaining 4 points. So there's no reason to do that at all. You just take the 4 points straight up, and then if your opponent does take the 4 points here, well, you just have to be okay with it. And I think it was just that you just like have to not only just look, hey, my opponent finish city bad, city need block, but actually like ask yourself, what are they gaining from that? And what red would be gaining from that situation is a measly 4 points, which is exactly the same as you get from any city cap. So I can understand this move intuitively, because intuitively you want to block, but it's just a case of course, questionable priorities. Yeah, so again, this block could have been done later, just over here, and Pakshe would have finished his city, but that would have been fine. Now, because like Pakshe gets to use this tile productively anyway, he's just gonna go here, continue his city maybe. He could also go here and disrupt red city as well. Plenty of options. I guess the downside of expanding this city is that it reopens it to the block immediately. Yeah, and I think exactly this sort of tile. So I think yellow is simply going to be waiting for a tile that fits over here. Yeah, so now as Itakudo finishes, Monashi starts a new one. This in case where I do agree, because it's just so many points. It's, well, 7 easy points essentially, but in reality it's actually the full 9. Pakshe can now have a really strong move. I'm not sure if he sees this. He can repeat the feat of the player with screen name Kithara in his game against Daniel Chard in the 2021 Carcassonne World Championships. Not the World Championships, but the World Team Carcassonne Online Championships. He can do something that's called a pre-block. It's pretty rare, but it's really fun. So if he goes over here, he's now setting himself up to draw a curve here, recover a monastery meeple, block this square, and block Red's monastery and Red's city. This is by far the strongest option that I see, and he finds it. Great recognition here by the Thai player. Let's see if he gets rewarded for it, as Ezi Takuto gets more quick points. A curve for Pakshe, but not the right kind. But he's still thinking. He's not finishing his city immediately. Just because the idea of going over here is so enticing. But no, finishing the city is more important. I would have considered the farmer there, actually. The reason why I would have considered the farmer is just to give yourself some insurance in case Red draws a curve to go over here and block the square, then Red gets into the field. But if Red draws a curve and put it like this to prevent you from entering the field, well, then Red just saved your road. Red, of course, in the meantime, saving not the road, but the monastery up top, recognizing that pre-block. Would have loved to see that happen. But, of course, more important priorities here for Pakshe, who has now also quite a difficult tile to play. I wonder if invading this ruin is really worth it. It's worth some points. I wonder if invading this ruin is already worth it. Not with 20 tiles remaining, it seems. I also don't want to be starting a new city just because it is just because there are not many Doritos left. There are only 2. Maybe just going over here puts additional pressure on this square would be nice. Or is it crazy to just go here and drop a farmer immediately? Maybe that will be okay as well. Hi, Kaika. Yeah, so Pakshe chooses to make the blocking move. Ezi Takuto finally blocks this road, which should have been blocked many moves ago. And you see, that's why I liked a farmer over here, because of course the farmer over here would not make this move possible. And even though it's only 3 points, you can develop it, and there was actually a chance to draw, to have your cake and eat it to complete the road, and to draw a road monastery to finish it, to sneak into the farm from the outside as well. Yeah. But at this point, Red no longer has the long-term meeple advantage because Red got some of his own projects blocked. Well, namely this guy. I don't think it's really coming back anytime soon. If ever, there's still one more tile that goes here. But surely Pakshe will do something about it. Oh, now a great tile for Pakshe. He takes 4 points, but he should have thought about it for a little bit longer, because an option to go here and drop a farmer is still existent. Chooses not to do that. Yeah, Ezi Takuto is really trying to cover up the farming squares, and I think now it's time for Pakshe to shine. Now or never, we go here and drop a farmer. There's still 2 starting tiles remaining. So that is an unblockable field connection, and in case you get unlucky, there's still a 3rd tile. There's still a city cap tile that goes over here. That is very nice. Yeah, and tricky situation for Ezi Takuto. Like 70%, 75% chance of your opponent equalizing the field. But also, do you care about it that much? Because Red is ahead on the scoreboard. Red can make himself more ahead on the scoreboard by going over here. Yellow cannot really overrun this field easily because Yellow will be remaining with just 1 meeple. Yeah, Red chooses to make a run for the main city, taking 1 point instead of 3. I would have just taken the 3. I think it was just a bit way too unlikely. But Red chose to take the gamble because, you know what, in some scenarios, your opponent might get a tile that doesn't block. Like, there's still plenty of road tiles remaining. I wonder if Ezi Takuto now is going to go here to try and block this square a little bit, or So you need to do something about the shape of the board. In theory, it's possible. Wait, actually, is it crazy to go here, drop a farmer, and hope either for the one remaining dagger that fits here, or to hope, or just simply to enjoy a nice 6-point field? Because we would be giving away our last meeple, but what this would do, this would make sure that, well, I mean, this would make sure anything. This would make sure that our opponent cannot use this field connection. And it also would not be that bad, because if our opponent goes here and connects to the field, which they will be giving not only them but also us a monastery meeple back. So that's an option for sure. Because it still looks very, very good for the Japanese player. Just because of the scoreboard lead, and just because his blocked feature is worth more than Pakshe's blocked feature. So this is 3, and at the top, this is 8. So this is +5 extra. Now a small mini battle, 5 versus 4. But remember how much effort Izitakuto spent on blocking that. So 4 extra points. Yeah, so currently Izitakuto's up 12. So this means that if he gets even more scoreboard stuff, he can sometimes even be okay with losing the big field. Now, do we drop the farmer here just yet? I think it's a tad too early. And also, this 9-point field could be used by somebody a bit later. Maybe there's a way for Izitakuto to kind of try and block this down. Okay, he just drops a city cap. Not a city cap, but a road in the farm. It's kind of eliminates a field connection. It, you know, makes this sort of invasion through the outside of a curve impossible. It was unlikely in the first place, but it was actually something that could have happened. Pakshe now with a normal city cap. The final dagger. The final dagger. Sounds very dramatic, but no, it's just a dagger tile, and it's the last of its kind, so it's no biggie. There are not many city caps remaining. Should we go for the field? No, it's too early. That's the thing. It's a juicy 9-point field, but it's just too early to deploy one's last meeple. Don't really have any good suggestions here. What would be a favorable way to shape the board? Going over here, I don't quite like. Or maybe I do. Wait, actually. So if we go over here, that drops a city cap and was our part of the field. And maybe there's some scenarios how red draws both of these tiles and also manages to block the square, in which case we at least have another city cap to work with to gain 7 points. But I think if that happens, we're losing anyway, and these 7 points won't help. So I just don't see a productive move from Pakshe. I think the main idea is just make a move and put pressure on the clock against your opponent. Most importantly, just not leave the city cap out in the open. So a mistake would be to go over here, because if red were to draw one of the starting tiles, it would allow red to productively score to get these 4 points, which of course we don't want to happen as yellow. Oh, right. Thank you, Wise Maze. That's very interesting. There's a very nice spot over here to attack through the starting tile again. But actually, if red were to use this, so before this tile was drawn, I prefer using this spot as opposed to this spot. Because if you go here, you can either draw this tile to connect to the field, or you can still draw both tiles that fit here. Whereas if you go here, you kind of setting yourself up like you need to get one of these starting tiles for sure. And if you go over here, you get 6 immediate points. Yeah, look at this. So red deciding not to drop a farmer there, but just simply to eliminate that field attacking opportunity. Yellow does indeed drop a field, does drop a city cap at the top, which is okay. This also, I was going to say that it sets up some interesting field connection opportunities through here, like through a Dorito with the road, you know, through the outside of a curve, but there are no Doritos with the road remaining. There are no city plus curve tiles of any kind. So the only city plus road tiles remaining are the two starting tiles and 1 shieldless horse. Pakshe, 7-8 seconds on the clock. Is it Akuto with a fantastic scoring tile? It's going to take 3 points, should do so very, very quickly. 3 points for the Japanese. They do a lot for his winning chances. Pakshe now gets the starting tile, gets the 4 points, connecting to the field. As Itakuto still ahead of the scoreboard, but there's equality on the farm. Somebody will need to invade. Somebody will need to try and invade, maybe through here, through the last remaining starting tile. Somebody needs to claim this field as well. So as Itakuto, what does he do? Does he go over here and claim the 9-point field? Or does he go over here and go for the 50-50 attack? I don't see why he would. There's a reason to do that, actually. So think about it. We're 7 points ahead on the scoreboard. We are, what, 1, 4. We are 4 ahead on blocked features overall, so we're plus 11. If we go over here and drop a farmer, we simply deny our opponent the field connection opportunity. And we even have a 50-50 chance of drawing it ourselves. Reds could use their meeple to score a 9-point field, but by scoring a 9-point field, they're still a little bit behind. But then also, wait. There's an easier way. If we just score the 9-point field ourselves, and red is and yellow is successful with a field attack, we score 9, they score 18, we're still ahead by the same 2 points. Yeah, so the simple move is sometimes just best. Go here, and this is exactly what the Japanese player does with 35 seconds remaining on the clock. And Pakshe now has no other choice than to attack the big field. He will need to attack it and then some, but there's a way to win. So we go over here, and we hope that our opponent draws some garbage, like a road Dorito, which they cannot block. And it's absolutely possible. Then, we do not draw the city cap, but we draw the starting tile, and setting up like this facing downwards. And when we do draw the city cap, we go over here, and not only we connect to the field, we get 7 extra points. We get 4 points for the city, 3 points for having an extra city on the field, and then instead of being at -2, we will be at +5 and likely winning this game. Unlikely scenario, but something that Pakshe needs to go for. There is no time to dilly-dally with 6-point farms like this. It says now or never, do or die, go over here and connect. I don't really see any other ideas. There's no time to like go over here and set up a platform. And yes, he goes for over here immediately, but Ezitakuto with the city cap, not with the city cap, but with a tile which will help him block immediately that field connection tile. So the only correct move in this position is to go here. Well, actually, it doesn't really matter that much because Pakshe needed both of these tiles. He needed both this and the city cap as well. Because Pakshe will be connecting, but he won't be getting the city points. Or will he? Wait. There's one of these guys still remaining. So, unless Ezitakuto goes here immediately, then this yellow guy can absolutely bring this home. Oh wait, there was even a monastery remaining. Yeah, I kind of forgot about that. I thought it was just vanilla. But still, this move, I think, is correct. Oh, no, there was a better move. Aha! You know what move I would have preferred? Facing the city cap downwards and meepling it. And then I think it's game over. Because now, what could still happen? I mean, Pakshe could have drawn this. And Pakshe could have drawn this. Yeah, because we see that Ezitakuto... Wait, no, that was Pakshe actually. Pakshe got the quick points for the 5 points over here. Yeah, man, so this game is not over. And I think with the monastery, the Thai player would be even winning this, perhaps. Not perhaps, for sure. So with the quick points plus the monastery, he would be winning. So I think what Ezitakuta needed to do is actually to go like there and meeple this 1-point city, making sure that if Pakshe connects to the field, he's getting this insurance point, and that Pakshe is not getting the monastery. Wow, what a game. But unfortunately, of course, the Thai player does not draw the monastery. That would have been quite the swindle. Yeah, I was debating this move. I kind of forgot that there was a monastery remaining because I just saw there's so many monasteries have gone out, but there was still one more. So with 2 tiles remaining to connect here, that was, of course, a no-brainer for the Thai player. Wise Mate is saying it wouldn't be game over if the starting tile were to face down with a meeple. Yeah? But then this makes sure that from the field connection, your opponent can only get 17. Well, Pakshe does invade the field, just another field, for only 9 points, but this won't be enough. Yeah, very interesting how the game was super close. I mean, the score, of course, will be quite a big difference in favor of the Japanese player, but it was quite the spectacular game, and it all started by Ezitakuta getting really creative here with the early farmer, which in hindsight was just a fantastic decision. Then Pakshe kind of bungled with getting his road blocked and allowing, so that opening sequence. So basically just yellow did not know how to react properly to this farmer, and that's what cost the game, and that's it. So failure to clean off the city cap, and then yellow was of course forced to attack the field, but you know, it's always better to be the first on the field because then you're guaranteed. With attacking the field later, you're just giving yourself a chance, but that's all that is, a chance. Then red blundering, sadly, the ability to put the game away early by blocking yellow's road, but then managing to block yellow's roads anyway, starting a threatening city that barely got blocked by Pakshe here, and then managing to realize that despite his dominance on the farms coming to an end with this brilliant invasion from Pakshe, he just simply converted his advantage to something different. He just simply ran away with the scoreboard stuff. Quick points here, quick points there, and that's how it's done. So we congratulate the Japanese player for just hanging in there. And in a couple of minutes, we will be headed into a decider as the players have suggested a break. Yeah, very interesting game. Thank you, Divakar, for pointing out that Pakshe gained 93 points in both games. Both in the one that he won and in the one that he lost as well. Okay, scoreboard updates. There we go. Ezitakuta 1, Pakshe 1. Let's see if the game has already started, because sometimes, you know, the 5 minutes could be metaphorically. I really like words meaning what they mean. So I know, like, I always say shorter. I say, like, let's have a 40-second break, and then I'm back in, like, 120 seconds. But I prefer that to be the opposite, actually. I don't like, oh, like if you say it's a 5-minute break, which means we have 5 minutes. Then we start after 2, then we miss stuff. Okay, I believe now the game must have started. And it has. We will witness the first tile, well, not the first, but the second. It is the Thai player with his yellow meeples to start with a traditional road curved up with the first city tile, and one with a shield for Ezitakuto, who will now use his potentially 8-point city as a nice consolation prize for going second. Pakshe will start a new city somewhere. You do not want to make a move like this. It is extremely, extremely desperate for the start of the game. Even like without a shield, you might think about this. But one thing that I notice is that Japanese players in particular, and like players in East Asia in general, are much more likely to spend more effort on average on blocking their opponents. And it very often works, but just not here. So I think the real debate is whether we meeple the city here, yes we do, or we meeple the city here, no we don't. So the reason I like this to meeple the city here is because it's already can give us some potential access to this red city. The fact that it looks sort of kind of a bit vulnerable, it ain't no big deal. In the start of the game, it's fine. Ezitakuto should now probably invade the road. Like, why wouldn't you do that? In fact, not doing so would be a mistake, just giving your opponent easy points with maybe just a connection issue for the Japanese player. Yeah, that is a mistake. There's no reason to leave this road for your opponent. Because, like, okay, this road is only worth 2 points, but 2 is still more than 0. If they get a curve, it's already worth 4 points, and then you're going to invade this road later. And also, like, you have 7 meeples in hand, like, what are you saving the meeples for? Yeah, I'm really surprised to see this move from somebody from Ezitakuto's caliber. It's something that I typically see at, like, the 400 elo level. Maybe the Japanese player noticed that there weren't, a lot of meeples per side in the last game. There was a lot of blocked stuff, but he was afraid of something. But I mean, no, there's just no reason to do this. Like, I can't explain this with anything than just not thinking this through. Pakshe gets a fantastic monastery, but it's tricky. So the question is, do we go here and meeple this monastery and risk 2 of our meeples getting blocked? Because look at these. These 2 tiles are available. I mean, they're not available because they're on the board. So there's only 1 of those left. And if we go here and meeple this, then our opponent can get a triple city tile and leave us only a 50-50 chance to finish. But you'd be surprised, but actually the answer to this situation is really easy. Yes, you do that anyway, just because the upside is so great. You get 5 immediate points, you get stacked monasteries, and we also need to remember that the majority of the deck is road tiles rather than city tiles. Yeah, you see, so he doesn't get the tile that blocks. And wait, actually that's wrong. The majority of the deck are city tiles rather than road tiles. Wait. No, that was wrong. There are still more tiles for us to continue our road and to defend rather than for our opponent to block, because there are more tiles with the road. There are more road plus field tiles. That, of course, includes the dagger, the starting tiles. Than they are city plus field tiles. That statement, I think, is true, but actually that's something that I should know by heart. So as Pakshe is thinking whether to place this Dorito over here or over here, pretty much the only... No, come on. Like, that's too much. That's too greedy. I mean, I know he's trying to build up his monastery and all, but that's too greedy. And also, like, you just have such a nice city here going on. And also the thing is, like, you actually want to get this over with before your opponent gets a straight line and puts over here, because now that your opponent, now if your opponent gonna place a straight line, cut off this road, then you can't continue your city without making your road more vulnerable. Yeah, okay, so it's fine. Red blocks it, but first of all, red takes an immediate sacrifice of some very nice points. We still have a 50-50 chance of drawing our meeple. We can go over here, start a new city, put pressure on this, and directly protect this square. Kirillo is asking, maybe meepling the monastery over here, next to red city. Nah, stacking is just too powerful. Yeah, I mean, he will end up suffering without meeples, but you can very often just, like, win the game on the spot. Again, okay, this is fine. This is definitely fine. We're controlling our opponent's feature. It is pretty much risk-free, I guess. This move I don't like one bit. Again, like, it seems to me that Pakshe just doesn't care about those 50-50s. So if you're gonna go over here, then the move is to go here and to give yourself the chance of getting saving this, and also to put pressure on this square so that you lose only one meeple and not two. Because the thing with this road is that if we get a curve before our opponent blocks it, actually, with very crucial, yeah, so Izitakura should now go here. So this will be now extremely damaging, because this would be cutting off this road meeple as just 2 points. If we were able to get a curve tile and continue this road meeple would be alive, and well, not alive, but he could still expand stuff, and this monastery would also be 8 points. So we would have blocked features, but for a lot of points. And now we're gonna have something blocked for just 2 points. So again, love the risky move over here. Just don't love the follow-up of allowing a block this easy. But Pakshe is gonna be down on meeples, but ahead on points. This is the kind of games which I love to play, typically as the side that's ahead on points. Wise Maze is saying, if it weren't for 2 daggers, already stacking is the way to go. So, I mean, with 3 daggers out, of course, I wouldn't do this. With 1 dagger, I would do it without thinking. With 2 daggers, I would do it with thinking. Still probably would opt for this, but now that I look at this, yeah, there are actually a lot of merits. Yeah, there are really lots of merits of going here. Actually, I start liking this, and simply because we can still draw another monastery later. First get the road, and there'll still be 4 monasteries to continue. Yeah, that's actually kind of nice. But anyway, I don't think that was a mistake by any means. What was a mistake was this move over here by Ezitakuto. It's just, like, I can't understate how urgent it is to block this road. Like, if you don't keep it in check, it could be like 11 points or something. Or it's not just about how many points it's going to be. It's just about, well, first of all, it's 5 immediate points. Because Yellow's getting extra stuff. First of all, 3 here, and then 2 points for free for the road as he's trying to finish the monastery. So that's already quite a lot. That's a move which gains you 5 points, essentially. Whereas this move just maybe sort of kind of gives you maybe a chance to sort of slightly disrupt this meeple and make it slightly sort of kind of harder to maybe develop that city and finish it. So in normal circumstances, that's a great move to make with your next straight line, but the first straight line goes here. Zitakuto now really not wanting to block that square. I know the reason. He just doesn't want, you know, for this city to be more vulnerable, but vulnerable, schmulnerable, it doesn't matter. Zitakuto now drops a farmer. Pakshe now not able to block that square, but able to restrict it. Now probably gonna go over here, continue his city at the bottom. Very nice. Zitakuto now sort of kind of blocking another monastery that is unpleasant, that is extremely unpleasant, but still 2 daggers that fit into that square. Pakshe with a monastery tile. Again, we go here. Like, it doesn't matter that it can easily get blocked. We need to continue our plan. If we're gonna score, then we need to score. It's a 5-point monastery. There is not gonna be much better stuff. There are not so many city plus field tiles. We have to go here. Even if we get blocked, we have a chance to get a dagger back. And in fact, we don't really need this many meeples to finish such a game. We just need to get either this dagger, or we need to get, let's say, this dagger once we're getting blocked. So with this move, the expansion of yellow's road is a bit less dangerous, but still, after a curve and a tile here, that's going to be very, very nice for yellow. Just do it. Like, the thing I like about Pakshe's style is that he's just extremely courageous with his meeples, so we saw that in all 3 games. That's, I'm thinking of a certain bird when I'm thinking of a certain domestic bird when I see a move like this. It starts with C and ends with Icken. I guess, like, it does have merit. It's makes it so that it is harder to block that square. Yes, this is true. And yes, had we gone over here, red would have drawn this tile, placed it over here, and obstructed yet another monastery. But it's fine. We don't really need this many meeples in a position like this. Blocked monasteries are fine. Because then we can just, you know, we can maybe try to draw one of the 3 daggers. We could try to finish our city over here. There's still plenty of options. Oh, look at what a great tile for Pakshe, building up his city. Ezitakuto with a blocking tile. Now we'll take care of the other monasteries. But here's the thing, like, sometimes when you have meeples in danger, you actually want for more of your meeples to be in danger so that your opponent can keep spending tiles and spending tiles and spending tiles. This is how you win those games without meeples. You just score and your opponent's blocks, and eventually they win the big field, but the big field is not enough. Kirilo, I mean, my sole interest is content. I don't care if the players make the best move, I just care that they make the move which is most entertaining. But now Pakshe will make the best move, which is blocking. Yeah, so that's why, that also brings us to another issue. So, like, in some situations, I was going to say that red loses a meeple when trying to block a meeple, because red already took some point sacrifice in going here. And red already put his city in a vulnerable spot. There are also some scenarios where actually red blocks his city instead, because he didn't finish it on time. So here, okay, in this situation, I actually agree with the Thai player, because now placing the monastery here is too dangerous, simply because it can be blocked with anything. With a road tile, we can block red's blocking this square. With a city tile, red's blocking this square. So there's really, really no way out of that monastery alive. That's why Pakshe then doesn't meeple it. This wasn't the case before this tile was over here. Ezitakuto with a extender tile. Probably going to start a new city. But no easy way to do this. So then I guess we can do it the hard way. Just go over here and hope that your meeple survives. Nah, just discards the tile, chooses to preserve his meeples for later. Pakshe, you know what Pakshe could do now? How about we go here and meeple this road? Is that crazy? I mean, the answer is yes, that is crazy, but that would be so much fun. We would be setting up. Well, first we would be taking 5 points straight up. Then we could draw a splitter tile that goes like this. Then we could get 4 points for this city, and then we would get the starting tile, and then we'd get 8 points for this city. And then we would get a road crossroads, and we would get 7 points for this road. So 19-point plan with no risk. No, I'm kidding, of course. That would be way too risky. But this would be the kind of thing to do where you're behind a lot. It just so happens that yellow is not behind by a lot. Yellow is just behind on meeples, but the position's very nicely closed. So yellow instead chooses to attack Red City, which makes sense. Red City is kind of dangerous. By the way, my move would have worked. Would have totally worked. Ah! the starting tile to go over here. I mean, of course, and I think now we need to come to the painful realization that we have to take these 4 quick points, and we have to block this road ourselves. Because we can't sacrifice 4 points just to save 3 points. And yeah, exactly, we have to do this. It temporarily makes our city vulnerable, but actually there aren't too many city plus road tiles, so city plus road tile is something that can be used to block the square. Yeah, and this is a lovely move here by Zitakuto, trying to make it harder for Pakshe to find a combo that fills the square. Oh, but a lovely tile and move by Pakshe, blocking this square straight up. By the way, I also told you that I didn't expect this in this game, but in some scenarios, this guy gets blocked just because red doesn't finish it soon enough, because red is too busy blocking. So what do we have as a result of all that? Red has 2 blocked meeples, and yellow has 2 blocked meeples, except yellow has 2 blocked meeples for more points. Pakshe now even gets the fantastic city tile. By the way, Pakshe did get the 50-50 for over here, the last dagger, and also sets up himself to complete a city over here. Fantastic sequence for the Thai player, of course, not without the help of the deck. Zitakuto now taking quick points and also trying to find some vulnerabilities in this square, really trying to attack it. Pakshe now with a scoring tile, perhaps? I think I have an idea. I think it's time to take a point sacrifice. Instead of scoring 3 points over here, I like scoring 2 points over here, and I'll tell you why. This move by Zitakuto comes with a gigantic threat. No, come, what is that? Leaving, I know the idea, it's like leaving a city cap open. No, it's not, just, no, come on, guys. What are these moves? Okay. None of the players saw the idea. I think, as Zitakuto especially, he had, like, I think that was a mistake with this move. The reason why I wanted Pakshe to take a point sacrifice was not to go over here, even though this move actually has some idea. The idea of this move is to leave a city cap out in the open, so that somebody can go over here and claim the city cap, and that will make this square less vulnerable, because that would restrict this blocking square. But the reason I wanted to take 2 points over here is because this would have taken out the threat that Zitakuto had in this position. The threat was to get a curve and drop a farmer and have an unblockable field connection through the 2 remaining crossroad tiles, gaining access to a 9-point field, possibly a 12-point field if the city gets completed, and scoring extra 6 road points in the process. And I think I was assuming that this move was kind of setting up that opportunity from Zitakuto, but then he immediately went over here and took 2 points, whereas if I were the Japanese player, I would have just gone over here and dropped a farmer instead of taking these 2 points. I would have also now connected to the field, because in case we don't draw the crossroads house, and of course yellow brings us in anyway by bringing their city to completion. Interesting move here from the Japanese player, playing with fire a little bit, but I kind of like it. So starting a new city, hoping for a Dorito tile, and then not invading over here, using this simply as a blocking tile, but it now won't work. There is still one tile only that fits into that square. And Zitakuto was banking on either blocking or simply drawing this tile. And now that this tile has successfully been defended, red will need to not block but draw this tile. But yeah, I am extremely sad that this farming opportunity was not taken advantage of. Farming plus scoring is just so much. There was another similar miss in the game between Siegfried and Big Nacho 610 recently of Argentina. So like very often if you see road ends, you very often think about quick points, but sometimes road ends are better used for setting up even longer roads with just 1 or 2 extra tiles that can give you a greater yield per tile overall, and of course in that position gaining access to the field as well. Yeah, crossroads are underrated field tiles, I'm gonna sell you that. Okay. Polo Verde, obviously, like about this road over here, like earlier on, I wouldn't actually have done that in the game. It's an opportunity to do if you're behind. But as for this monastery, I like it, and me playing a monastery over here, I would have also done this as well. Actually, I have a game on my channel. It was uploaded 2 years. Wait, 2 years ago. I think it was the 2022 European Championships. No, 2021 European Championships maybe. Wait, okay, I start forgetting the years. That's not that good. 2022. Yeah, 2022. And the video is called I won the game plus 50 with 6 trapped meeples. And the video is exactly what the title suggests. And I remember that the game was streamed, and like one of the commentators was saying, "Oh, you know, like how Alexey managed to get a comeback." And the commentators were Vladimir Chendev and Vladimir Kovalev, and kind of Vladimir Chendev was saying, "Oh, like what a comeback, and like Vladimir Kovalev was saying, you know, what kind of comeback are you talking about? Like Alexey was ahead all the time with. It's just like he didn't have meeples, but you know, you don't really need meeples. This position is perfectly fine." And Pakshe is demonstrating also this at the moment. Yeah, you don't win with meeples, you win with points. Of course, you need meeples to get points, but notice that Pakshe has always had at least 1 meeples in hand. That's very interesting. Yeah, so this move, of course, ended up working fantastic for Pakshe. Like leaving the city cap, it's a nice idea, but it only worked because Ezitakuto did not see that farming entry, and that farming entry could have been like really dangerous point-wise. That's 14 points per meeple for a price of, that's actually 17 points for the price of a meeple. And I think also at some point, Wisemage, you were commenting that Pakshe was up 17 points. There your 17 points right there. So farming invasion, road plus like a field or something. Yeah, so players are exchanging quick points. Ezitakuto starting a new road, getting a splitter tile, which is really good for them. Also, they managed to successfully complete an invasion over here. I kind of overlooked that because I didn't think of this city as being particularly worthy of fights. Well, it now looks like he needs to defend it because the city is very close to getting blocked. Yeah, this starting tile by Pakshe was used in the blocking attempt, as Ezitakuto now getting some conflicting thoughts on whether to meeple the city, and I think we need to leave it empty. But it's very close. And now Pakshe with a tile that the Japanese player would have loved to have. Scoring 2 points, a great move actually. Not scoring here, not scoring here, not scoring here, not expanding a field that does not need to be expanded. It's a shared field, but it could not necessarily always stay that way, and that's why we want to keep it as small as possible. Ezitakuto with the curve. Now another dilemma, do we go over here and maybe restrict the city cap, or do we try and get greedy and score with a potential 6-point road? But if we go here, we'll leave an empty city cap. I don't know about that. We could draw a city cap, miss out on points. But then again, if we get a city cap, we don't really want to meeple it because we need to complete our city over here. There's still 2 road Doritos left. Yeah, he goes for the more peaceful move. Pakshe draws one of the road Doritos available to him. Is it crazy to go here? Yes, it is. Don't do that. Maybe Pakshe can actually go for this road. Let's think about this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3 curves remaining, more than enough. 4th tile to get a meeple back. A 5th tile if your opponent draws the Dorito seems to me like a relatively safe move. We could also meeple this 8-point ruin straight up, but just a tad too early with a couple of scoring tiles still available. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 3 curves. So sounds like the way to go. This should outrun most things. As Itakoto with the straight line, not many places to use it productively. Probably just adding a point to himself. Hi, Ian. Oh, by the way, a move like this that I was suggesting earlier, you know, kind of like going crazy, me playing a road and hoping for the starting tile, those moves are something that occurs not so much often in actual Carcassonne, but a lot in Mochan-Cassonne, like the Elias Mochan variant, where you get to see the sequence of tiles in advance, the hybrid between Carcassonne and Patchwork. So those of you who have either played it or seen my stream on Elias's channel, well, I mean Elias's stream rather, and me being as his guest, where Melvin and Kvarajma and I played a game like this, those probably know what I mean. For the rest of you, I might need to actually explain this a little bit later. The only issue is that it's not possible to play this game at Board Game Arena Pakshe with the last dagger tile. I'm surprised there are even tiles like this still remaining. This is not the best tile for road meeple recovery because somebody could get a city cap over here, and this would expand the field and would also give a chance for somebody to connect to the field. Speaking of connecting to the field, as is Itakuto, well, first of all, you need to be super happy that you're not losing the game on the spot because you drew the tile that Pakshe needed. So I can understand why the Thai player never likes defending the 50-50s, because he never gets them. That's not true. He got plenty of good tiles earlier on, just not those kind of tiles. Yeah, I think the move is maybe we attack the field straight up, and we hope to recover a meeple later. We sacrifice a bit of scoring potential. Yeah, but we need to do this. So you see, nah, just one. Does Itakuro think he's ahead? Is he thinking that maybe this is enough? Well, he will be scoring 4 points, I'll give you that. I think, again, a slight miss. It was actually better to play this move with the city cap pointing the other way, I believe. Yeah, Pakshe just wins the coin flip, so sadly the city will not be completed. Sadly, because it will mean that the game will be less close. Pakshe could just meeple the ruin. Instead, he chooses to, I think, prevents a field connection opportunity, but as Itakuro now has to go for a farm, because yellow is just scoring too much for the monasteries and for stuff like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 2 curves remaining. I think going over here, it's a decent 60% chance, 60% exactly. There's really not much to think about. I guess you should count the tile still, but you have to go for it. You have to go for it. Yeah, I think, okay, now I understand the placement over here. Because I thought, first of all, I thought that maybe leaving the city cap is actually better. In case we get blocked over here, we still have a chances to score additionally. But I'm not even sure if there was a city cap remaining. Maybe there wasn't. In that case, of course, this move is much, much better because it opens up this field connection opportunity, which I'm pretty sure the Japanese player will now use. And also there's a crossroads available, still to get a meeple back. Yeah, he does go for it. Pakshe can just probably ignore it, actually. I don't think it's worth to block anything. I don't think he has to do it because he's 7 points ahead of the scoreboard. He has 2 monasteries. He's going to lose a field for 12 points, but the monasteries are 16. So I think the best then that Ezi Takuto can score is going here with a final crossroads, getting his road meeple back, and then with the curve going here and scoring 2 extra. But Ezi Takuto gets the curve immediately. Pakshe gets the crossroads for a 5-point road. Yes, I think that was a bit of a waste of 1 point. Although actually that wasn't a waste. I think there was playing against exactly the kind of scenario that I was talking about. Because actually this move forces Ezi Takuto to draw a curve immediately. Because if Ezi Takuto were to go here, then he can't do that anymore because Pakshe would either block or reinvade with pretty much any tile. And so that's a very nice idea here by Pakshe. So actually this is taking away 2 points off what would have been the best scenario for Ezi Takuto. In the case of the best tile run out for your opponent, you get 1 point extra in comparison to what you would have done had you simply ignored this threat whatsoever. So that's very nice, actually. So this is not so much a blocking attempt, this is just reducing the number of points that Ezi Takuto can get with his best scoring sequence. Well, now we're going to see 1 road point. Hopefully he doesn't forget about this road. And, oh, another crossroad tile. Oh, wait, no. Then actually, it's still possible. It was still possible for Ezi Takuto to finish his road first if Pakshe were to draw this thing. Anyway, I don't think these extra couple of points will matter. I think Pakshe will win this quite confidently just because of these monasteries, and despite the very nice field invasion at the end, which, by the way, should have and could have been done earlier, as I told you over here, with a bunch of extra value as well. But anyway, I don't think that would have changed much, and not that big of a difference. Yeah, so 11 points, but it's just really a lot of like, Pakshe controlled the game just excellently, and I'd really like to see on stream something that's one of those games where one of the player gets blocked all the time but still wins anyway. That just shows you that meeples can sometimes be overvalued. Yeah, excellent meeple management for Pakshe here, and Ezi Takuto, even though very nice attempt, and he did have to block in a lot of these cases, just maybe trying to figure out a comeback route a little bit earlier, trying to be a bit more risky, a bit more efficient. I mean, this was certainly a very nice attempt. Kind of sad that it didn't work out, that Pakshe drew both tiles that fit into that square, but then again, very nice field invasion at the end. So the Thai player with screen name Pakshe, who is here because Thai in their debut year won the Asian Cup, giving them 1 extra spot in the Champions League qualifiers. He will deliver on that spot and be the first player from Q3 to join. Oh yeah, there is no. I'm not sure why I'm drawing this arrow, like just to symbolize that he's advancing. And then we're gonna have something really interesting. So we don't see the full bracket, but over here in the consolidated finals for the losers bracket, Ezi Takuto will be waiting either Siegfried or Krishna or one of these 4 guys over here. Certainly Ezi Takuto against I mean, honestly, like, if it's any one of these guys, it's gonna be pretty difficult because you have like 4 masters all eyeing you, And so I think whoever's going to be playing against Ezitokoto, it's going to be difficult. But we saw that the Japanese player took a game off the Thai master, also quite deservedly with some nice field control, and just got a little bit outscored with Pakshe's block meeples in his last game. So still, best of luck to the Japanese player who can still qualify even after this, and congratulations to all my Thai fans who may be watching right now. And now the only thing to conclude is just to look at the further plans. So so Lycos against Portgard is the stream tomorrow, same time, 1300 UTC. Guatemala versus Vietnam. The highest rated player, both an expert in the semifinal, not the lower semifinal, the upper semifinal of Q2. That's qualification is for the second and third place finishers of national championships. Naleheim versus Ivan Bell should be really interesting, but this one we're not streaming. And this one also I'll be unlikely to cover. This one maybe, but I can't make any promises at the moment. So if there is going to be a stream, it's going to be a stream at a very short notice. And then on Thursday, we have a bunch of treats. Pablo BCE versus Divaka is the match to cover. Basiluk versus Setsuginto, we're also definitely covering that on the 20th. And then finally 21st and the 22nd. Yeah, honestly, like we might be doing all, if not most, if not all of this stuff. So at least the 20th of December, we have something going on every day. Let me just double check real quick if I'd mixed anything in the chat before finishing. Wise Maze is saying, I would have liked Ezzy to draw a Dorito just for content. Yes, I agree. That would have made things closer, and that would have given him a real, that would have given him a real chance to win. Yeah, interesting. Wise Maze is saying many of these finals might feature better players than some group games will. Yeah, I mean, but that's just how it works, and that's fine. I think that's the same way it works in the football Champions League, where the inspiration for this system came from. It's just some countries have a lot of good players, and they can't all participate. Yeah, the Exodus in Q4. I mean, Q4 indeed. Like, if these are going to be the 8 top-rated players on the platform and only 2 can qualify, well, then, of course, so 6 players who are otherwise worthy of the Champions League will not be participating. Of course, I'll be waiting for this match really soon. So both of these players very much worth of the group stage of the Champions League, and I will be trying to prevent either of them from being there. And we will find out whether that's possible in probably a couple of weeks. All right, so Lycos versus Portgard tomorrow. Make sure to meet with the like button if you like this video. Important for the algorithm. Subscribe in case you're here for the first time and want more competitive Carcassonne content like this. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'm gonna see you soon.